Okay, so this game is truly amazing because it actually takes an idea that sounds very interesting and does every possible thing to hit all the wrong notes. Everything is done completely wrong to a point where it's legendary. This is one of those games that was in production for 5 years, facing numerous cancellations, and probably should have been better off cancelled. It was originally supposed to be an open-world biker game set in the 1960s with several activities to take part in. But what we have now is a very linear game with non-optional minigames that utilize the most broken game controls I've ever played. Anyways, let's take a look at what we got. A biker named Jake returns from the Vietnam War to see his uncle and brother, but when they hang out in the town, a rival biker gang starts to harass them, which results in the brother being killed and Jake being shot and left for dead. Jake quickly recovers without any explanation and seeks revenge by killing off the gang's members one by one. Are you starting to see the problems here? Because that's just the beginning. Another thing is that more often than not, the cutscenes begin before all the textures load in, so everything looks like a blurry blob for a couple seconds, and the character animations and graphics look really outdated. The voice acting is honestly the worst I have ever heard. Yeah, worse than the Emperor's New Groove action game.
As it so happens, I need to find Anvil. I'm looking for him. Ideas?
Last time I seen the big guy, he was going to the motel for some action. It's across the street, behind the bar.
Thanks, man. See you around.
Oh, Suki Suki. Oh, wow.
The driving stages are just as bad because the physics are so bouncy and the cars just glide across and don't react to anything. If you hit something or get turned around, the screen goes black and you get reset a short ways back. But if that's not bad enough, if that happens too many times at once, the bike involuntarily flies off to the right and explodes for no reason. The enemies that you face while driving lock you beside them and you're forced to mash buttons to fight back, causing their bikes to explode using the same sound effects, and sometimes enemies will just appear and suddenly explode for no reason. The combat's bad too, because the melee combat is done by punching, blocking, and strong blows, with a few combo attacks, but it feels so stale and bland. The weapons, on the other hand, are very awkward to aim, and anything other than a headshot is useless. The AI is pretty broken, and the enemies either run out into the open during gunfights or stand in place for a short while. The music that plays alongside is irritating since it sounds like an amateur guitarist wasn't putting a whole lot of effort into the soundtrack. The collectible items are pretty poor since there's no way to view the collection, and all they really do is unlock bike parts, which is okay, but it doesn't make the driving any better. But the biggest offense is the quote-unquote sex scenes. A couple of times, Jake has to save a girl from being harassed, and after he does so, they instantly start going at it on the spot, all fully clothed, while someone makes the worst possible sound using a guitar. Then Jake just appears back where he left off as if nothing happened. As a whole, the game functions, I'll give it that much. However, I've come across a handful of glitches here and there, but none have broken the game. What's even more shameless is that Deep Silver plans to make 2 more games, titled Route 666 and Beatdown. They also have a DLC called Cook's Mad Recipe, if you can believe that, but don't bother buying it since it's no better than the rest of the game. If Retribution wasn't so frustrating and counterintuitive at times, I'd say it would be enjoyably bad, and it does seem like it could have been a good game if only Deep Silver had put their hearts back into it to create the sort of game they wanted to. And there are some traces of it, though. The hub world you can interact with is open to walk around, almost like an open world section, until you try to leave the boundaries. In the hub world, you can sell drugs and buy weapons and upgrades, and to my surprise, even the bartering menus suck. There's definitely some enjoyment to be had in all of its stupidity at times, but it's a shame the consistency can't last throughout. But I actually recommend it to some of you to check it out on your own, because you have to see it to believe it. However, to everyone else, it's one ride to hell you better stay away from.
Jake? What the hell happened?